If trade wars escalate, the future of flying could look very different, more expensive, more divided, and less connected than we've ever known. We started this series breaking down how tariffs quietly creep into the cost of your plane ticket. Then we uncovered the political chessboard driving aviation disputes around the world. Now for part 3, we're looking ahead because the future of flying isn't just about the next cool aircraft, it's about whether the very idea of global air travel stays alive. Right now, we take it for granted that we can book a flight from Los Angeles to Paris, or from New York to Tokyo, or from Dallas to Sao Paulo, all just with a few clicks. The sky feels borderless, but that could all change if tariffs continue to escalate between major aviation powers like the US, EU, and China. One possible future is fragmentation, a world where the skies are divided into politically aligned blocks. Imagine a future where US airlines can mostly fly American-made planes, European airlines could fly Airbus planes, and Chinese carriers could operate COMAC jets. At first glance, it might seem like a technical difference, but the ripple effects would be massive. Supply chains would shrink and localize, and aircraft parts would become less interchangeable. Maintenance hubs would have to specialize by region, and worst of all, for travelers, fewer airline alliances and fewer direct routes. You could see global code-share agreements like Star Alliance or Oneworld. Airlines will find it harder and costlier to cooperate across borders. Booking a multi-leg international trip might involve multiple airlines that no longer work together and multiple layers of fees, paperwork, and friction. Now, this isn't just speculation. Trade fragmentation is already happening in industries like tech, energy, and even pharmaceuticals. Aviation, because of its strategic importance, is a prime target to be next. The International Air Transport Association has already warned that trade protections could slice global airline profits by billions of dollars over the next decade. The studies show that even modest tariff hikes can depress international travel demand by up to 2% annually, which is a huge number in a low-margin industry. And travelers won't just pay more, they'll also have fewer choices. Right now though, competition between Boeing and Airbus benefits consumers. Airlines shop for the best planes, which keeps innovation and service quality high. But if tariffs effectively force carriers to buy domestic, airlines might get stuck with inferior or expensive aircraft. And fewer components mean fewer incentives to improve and less pressure to keep ticket prices affordable. There's also the risk of regional monopolies. In a fragmented market, regional manufacturers could dominate their home turf without serious competition. And we all know how bad competition is for prices. This very thing could lead to safety concerns, outdated technology, and even higher operating costs, all of which trickle down to the passenger experience. Another potential future involves travel nationalism, where governments use aviation policy to favor their own airlines over foreign carriers. We've already seen early signs of this. During the pandemic, many countries bailed out their national airlines with taxpayer funds. We've already seen early signs of this. During the pandemic, many countries bailed out their national airlines with taxpayer funds, but attached strings that limited foreign competition. Moving forward, it's possible that we'll see policies that prioritize homegrown aviation at the expense of global mobility. So what would that look like for you and me? Longer travel times due to fewer direct flights, higher prices as competition drops and operating costs rise, more visas and more paperwork for connecting flights across multiple countries, a greater risk of disruption if diplomatic disputes escalate into bans or sanctions, and in a worst-case scenario, airline travel could return to a pre-globalization model where only the wealthy could afford multi-country itineraries and where geopolitical tensions shape your flight paths more than your budget or your preferences. But fragmentation isn't just a financial issue, it's a cultural issue too. Travel has always been a bridge between people, ideas, and even opportunities. It's how students study abroad, it's how businesses open new markets, it's even how families reunite across continents. If trade wars put up invisible walls in the sky, those connections suffer, and so does the human experience of global citizenship. It's so easy to underestimate the psychological impact of a much more closed-off world. Travel teaches empathy, adaptability, and understanding. And if it becomes harder or more expensive, fewer people will experience it, and we risk creating a generation that sees other cultures as abstract or adversarial rather than familiar. And let's not forget the broader economic consequences that this might have. According to the World Travel Tourism Council, the travel and tourism sector accounted for over 10% of global GDP pre-pandemic. Disrupting aviation with tariffs could cripple industries like tourism, hospitality, and international education, especially in developing economies that depend heavily on foreign visitors. There's a domino effect here. Tariffs hurt aviation, aviation hurts travel, and the collapse of travel hurts global prosperity. Now, there are some who argue that a fragmented aviation world could boost local manufacturing and create jobs at home. And in some cases, that's true, but at what cost? Economic isolation has rarely produced long-term growth. History shows us that open markets and international cooperation drive innovation faster than protectionism ever has. And innovation is exactly what aviation needs right now. The aviation industry faces enormous challenges ahead. Reducing carbon emissions, developing electric and hydrogen-powered planes, reimagining airport logistics, and even expanding access to underserved regions. Solving these problems requires global cooperation and collaboration. It requires pooling talent, technology, and even investment across borders. And if we let trade wars freeze that progress, we may find ourselves flying in outdated, inefficient, and environmentally harmful planes for decades longer than necessary. So the stakes are bigger than the airfare. They're about the very future of how humanity moves. But I don't want to make this all doom and gloom. The good news is that the future isn't written yet. Governments can choose to de-escalate. Airlines can lobby for open skies, and travelers, people like you and me, can advocate for smarter policies by staying informed, speaking out, and voting with our wallets. In a fragmented future, smart travelers will have to be even smarter. They'll need to understand trade policies, track which airlines operate which routes, and adapt to a shifting landscape of cost and regulations. They'll need to be strategic, booking wisely, insuring heavily, and staying flexible. But in an open future, travel could be even more democratized. It could be more sustainable and connected now than ever before. The choice is ours collectively. So the next time you hear about a tariff dispute over aluminum or aircraft parts, don't tune out. That story might be the cost of your next adventure or about the shape of the world that you'll be exploring for years to come. At GUIKE GRIOT Travel Lifestyle, we believe that understanding the forces shaping our world makes us smarter every day. If you found value in this mini-series, subscribe for more smart and safe travel reports and join a global community of travelers who move with wisdom, not just wanderlust. And if you want to help keep the content going, you can now support us directly through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Your support helps us stay independent, research deeper, and bring you even more essential travel insights week after week. The links are down below, and even a small contribution makes a huge difference. Stay informed, stay empowered, and until next time, safe travels.